Ready? Yeah. Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today we're in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 60. And this verse says, Yatato hi apikonteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramatini haranti prashabham mana. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination, who is endeavoring to control them. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. There are many learned sages, philosophers, and transcendentalists who try to conquer the senses. But in spite of their endeavors, even the greatest of them sometimes fall victim to material sense enjoyment due to the agitated mind. Even Vishwamrita, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Menaka into sex enjoyment. Although the yogi was endeavoring, meaning Vishwamrita, was endeavoring for sense control with severe types of penance and yoga practice. And, of course, there are so many similar instances in the history of the world. Therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot cease such material engagement. A practical example is given by Sri Yamunacharya, a great saint and devotee, who says, since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it, and I spit at the thought. Krishna consciousness is such a transcendentally nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied his hunger by a sufficient quantity of nutritious eatable. Maharaja Ambarish also conquered a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness. Savai Krishna Padara Vindayor, Vachamsi, Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane. Okay, so the senses are, so this verse, text 60 says, the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. Okay, so that means that one may have an agitated mind. How do you get an agitated mind? Well, it's by engaging the mind and the senses with, and then including the eyes and the ears in sense gratificatory thoughts. That's what gives an agitated mind. And now let's look at the example of uh, a brahmachari who, up to the age of 16, was strictly following Krishna consciousness. But one day he was in the forest and he saw two very low class uh, people, a man and a woman, having sex. And after that, it affected him. And he began to be a debauchee. Debauchee is someone who tries to always take advantage of women and have sex. So just imagine that happened a long time ago, but just imagine today, almost everywhere you look, an advertisement and movies and books and so forth, there's possibility of getting agitated by, uh, you know, uh, the semi or quasi naked women in the advertisements and so forth. So normally, uh, what the advertisements do, not all advertisements, but let's say you want to buy a muscle car. Well, usually the advertisement for a muscle car, those are, you know, very powerful, sometimes six-wheel cars, trucks. And there'll always be a lady with a bikini on, standing next to the truck with a big smile. So, what is the subliminal message in that advertisement? The subliminal message is if you have the muscle truck, you'll get the woman also. So we see how these are subliminal uh, messages in these advertisements that and by the way, usually uh, when there are advertisements, not all advertisements, of course, but oftentimes there's always a woman, a very attractive woman, trying to sell the product, and it catches the attention of people. Okay, so and uh, even the greatest of yogis and philosophers and transcendentalists uh, have in the past fallen victim to material sense enjoyment due to the agitated mind. Even Viswamrita, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Menaka into sex enjoyment. Although the yogi was endeavoring for sense control with severe types of penance and yoga practice. Okay, so this brings up the subject of Thakur Haridas. He was uh, he was not at all interested in a very beautiful lady that came to see him at the nighttime and wanted to completely give her body to him. He wasn't interested at all. Why? Because he was chanting Hare Krishna. Of course, he was chanting Hare Krishna uh, 25 plus hours a day. 24, okay, it's 24 hours a day, 23 hours a day. And, well, actually, 23, three-quarter hours a day. Yeah, yeah. And he did not succumb to the enticement of a lady who was a prostitute. Then Maya Devi also came. and tried to make him fall down. And again, he was not tempted by Maya Devi herself. And on the contrary, uh, Maya Devi, just like the previous girl, uh, became his devotee and surrendered to him and took up Krishna consciousness seriously. Okay, so this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is very, very powerful. And if we become serious to chant as much as we can, it'll save us from many, many difficulties in life. Many, many difficulties. The uh, uh, the understanding is that, uh, according to Freudian philosophy, that everyone, uh, even when they're children, they have a desire for sex. Now, this is hard to believe, but this is Freudian philosophy, and therefore, uh, when uh, you get older, it just gets worse, especially in puberty. It gets worse for women and gets worse for men. Um, so, uh, unless someone has been taught to chant Hare Krishna and engage in devotional service, there's a strong possibility that they can become overwhelmed by the desire for sex and indulge in it and be stuck like that for the whole lifetime. Many people like that, the whole lifetime, they're overwhelmed by the sex desire. That doesn't mean they can have sex desire their whole lifetime, but whatever sex desire, whatever sex they did have, they can meditate on it for the rest of their life. So this is what's called an agitated mind. Okay, now, is it possible to control the mind? Is it possible to change? Like what's happening is from uh, uh, well, what's going on is that one has lusty desires. Is it possible to change lust back to love? Because originally we have love. Originally we were all with Krishna. Therefore we had love. But somehow or other, love has been transformed into lust. Now, is it possible to uh, go back to love? Well, it is, but it's difficult to do, but not impossible. And the way to do it is by chanting Hare Krishna and associating with devotees and engaging in devotional service. Then you can change lust into love. But if you associate with bad people and you engage in intoxication and so forth, then love can be uh, transformed into lust very easily. And we see that all over the place. It's becoming the main theme of growing up in America. A lot of people go from love to lust and never come back to love. And they say, no, 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 no. I fell in love with so and so, but actually, Prabhupada said that is lust. It's not real love. Okay, so here it says that even the greatest of yogis sometimes fall victim to material sense enjoyment due to the agitated mind. And then he gives the example of Vishwamitra Muni, who fell down with Menika. Although Vishwamitra Muni was endeavoring for sense control with a severe type of penance and yoga practice. All right, so yoga practice. Let's talk about that. it is not really understood. We've discussed this already many times, but it's not this, that's not the, exercise yoga. Yoga means connecting to Krishna. And the way to connect to Krishna is through love and devotion and performing devotional activities to please Krishna. Okay, so why can't people do that? Oh, because they are ignorant. And there's too much peer pressure also in society. Uh, okay, so there's a society of men who hate women because they're not able to have sex with women. There's a society like that, and often sometimes they actually kill women. You want to look that up? So uh, they think that, oh, women are only attracted to really handsome men, and they're not attracted to me. So they have a whole organization like that in the United States, and sometimes they kill women. Do you see that? What's it say?
Incel communities have been increasingly criticized by scholars, government officials, and others for their misogyny,
That means hatred of women.
the endorsement and encouragement of violence and extremism.
Yeah. Yes. So they're angry men. So they have a whole organization. And sometimes they actually kill women. So this is how low people have become, men have become in the United States. And actually, that organization goes throughout the whole world, not just the United States. So, uh, how can the mind, agitated mind, be transformed into a mind that is Krishna conscious? Well, you know the process. It's by associating with genuine devotees, regularly chanting, hearing lectures given by devotees, eating prasada, going on sankirtan, and not watching movies and reading books and all those nonsense things that are all sexual. Okay, so if someone like Vishwamrita Muni, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled like Menaka into sex enjoyment, how are ordinary people going to avoid it themselves? Well, there's where Lord Chaitanya comes into the picture, and pure Vaishnavas by getting what you call a a superior taste in life. There's low taste and there's high taste. So that high taste is when you chant Hare Krishna and you feel happiness by chanting and associating with devotees and having prasadam and hearing lectures. Then you get a higher taste. Without that higher taste, it's very difficult to give up the lower so-called ways of pleasuring. So uh, that higher taste should be taught to children. As soon as they get to be 4, 5, 6 years old, they should learn how to be attracted by the higher taste and actually taste it. And especially when they get to be 10, 11, 12, 16 years old, 20 years old, they'll always have that higher taste. Then they can get through life without becoming victimized by sense gratification. But if they don't have any higher taste, in other words, if you have something better than something else, then you avoid the thing that's lesser and you enjoy the thing that's better. So that's what's called higher taste. Okay, so there's different ways of looking at this. Like, for example, Yamunacharya, who's a great saint and a devotee, he says, since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, meaning happiness, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at the thought. Is that on the ground? My beads?
Yeah, just fell down.
Oh, thank you. So, this is a pretty harsh statement, but you can see how, Yamunacharya really abhorred, you know, getting into any sexual involvement. However, without not, you don't have to hate women. That's not the purpose of being a devotee. So Prabhupada writes in this same purport, Krishna consciousness is such a transcendently nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied his hunger by a sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. So you can't force that person to eat anymore. They're satisfied. So Maharaj Ambarish also conquered a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so if we're satisfied by Krishna consciousness, nice prasadam, nice association, nice chanting, nice dancing, nice sankirtan, nice Bhagavad Gita, and so forth, then we're satiated, we're satisfied, and we don't have to seek anything else. And one time Prabhupada said, people think that sex is nice, but actually it is not nice at all. So, but some people just live for sex. But when you have a higher taste, then you give up the lower taste. So to get that higher taste requires associating with genuine devotees who are completely happy and not at all interested in that lower taste themselves. Then it's easy to get that higher taste in that association. Okay, are there any questions about this verse? If not,
So,
yes, go ahead.
Yesterday in Bhagavatam, Maharaj,
Yeah.
statement,
The process of restriction from sense enjoyment.
here Prabhupada makes the statement, which I actually wanted to ask this game.
Yeah.
That was in the 320 to 34. Krishna consciousness does not stop them in their propensity for material enjoyment, but simply regulates their habits in the life of sense enjoyment.
Okay, so that's in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, but
That's a wonderful statement. It's just a wonderful statement. Go ahead.
yeah, but my question is that Krishna consciousness can actually also stop the propensity for material enjoyment, right? Based on this, I mean, here Prabhupada makes the statement that Krishna consciousness does not stop them in their propensity for material enjoyment, but simply regulates their habits in the life of sense enjoyment. But a pure Krishna conscious devotee, like Haridas Thakur.
Okay, now you're talking about someone that's one in a billion people. He's this very special person, right? He's hardly sleeping at all. He only sleeps maybe not even a half an hour a day. And he's chanting all day long, over 300,000 names of the Lord. So you can't take him as an example. We're talking about normal people.
Yeah.
So for normal people, even though they're still attached to sense gratification, if at least they're regulated and chanting Hare Krishna, they can also make tangible spiritual progress, even though they're still engaging in sense gratification.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about, not normal people, but the majority of people.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So anything else from this verse? If not, we'll go to text 61. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matpura vasahi yasya indriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, meaning Krishna, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. That the highest conception of yoga perfection is Krishna consciousness is clearly explained in this verse. And unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. As cited above, the great sage Durvasa Muni picked a quarrel with Maharaj Ambarisha, and Durvasa Muni unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. On the other hand, the king, meaning Ambarisha, although not as powerful a yogi as the sage, meaning Durvasa Muni, but a devotee of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sage's injustices and thereby emerged victorious. The king was able to control his senses because of the following qualifications as mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 4th chapter, 18, verses 18 to 20. Savai Manak Krishna Padaravindayor Vacham Sivai Kunta Gunana Varnane Karo Harir Mandira Marjana Adisu Shrutin Chakar Achutya Sat Katodaye, and so forth. It says, King Ambarisha fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engaged his words in describing the abode of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotee, his nostrils in smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting tulsi leaves offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy place where his temple is situated, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. And all these qualifications made him fit to become a matpara devotee of the Lord. Matpara means a devotee who's in contact with the Lord. That's what a matpara is. He's real. Well, he can't be any more in contact than what we just read. He's a matpara, exceptional devotee because he's always focusing his thoughts, life, activities, everything, and dovetailed into Krishna consciousness and trying to please the Lord. The word matpara is most significant in this connection. How one can become matpara is described in the life of Maharaj Ambarisha. So matpara means you are always with the Lord, not only physically, but also mentally, all completely immersed in thoughts of the Lord. Okay. So, Srila Balabdeva Vidyabhusan, a great scholar and acharya in the line of the Matpara, remarks, Mad Bhakti Prabhavena Sarvendriya Vijayapurvika Swatma Dristi Sulabhiti Bhava. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Also, the example of fire is sometimes given. As a blazing fire burns everything within a room, Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of the yogi, burns up all kinds of impurities. The Yoga Sutra also prescribes meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the void. The so-called yogis who meditate on something which is not on the Vishnu platform simply waste their time in a vain search after some phantasmagoria. Now, phantasmagoria is something that is completely false, but it looks overwhelming. Like you go to Disneyland, it's something overwhelming, but the whole thing is false. We have to be Krishna conscious, devoted to the personality of Godhead. This is the aim of the real yoga. Okay, so there's no doubt about it. The real meaning of yoga is connecting to Krishna in every way possible. And some of those ways we just read how King Ambarish fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, and by engaging in his words, describing his abode, his hands in cleansing the temple, his ears in hearing the pastimes, etc. That's what matpara means also, always in relationship with Krishna. So we should all strive to become matpara devotees of Krishna. And here Prabhupada says the senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Okay. So you say, and there is a lot of repetition that Prabhupada makes. Why? That's just to emphasize what is most important. So in that case, it's not bad to have repetition. And what is our problem? We easily forget things. We might read a book, and a day or two after we finish reading the book, we completely forgot everything in the book. So that's why repetition is important, and Prabhupada is repeating things a lot. But that's so it enters into our mind, and so that we never let go of it the rest of our life. Okay, so the senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Haribol. Okay, we're going text 62.
Time check. Yeah, it's morning we do. Nights we're doing only half an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we're covering one verse typically, but we covered 2 verses.
Okay, well, are there any questions, my dear devotees? Any questions?
Any questions or comments?
Okay, no questions. Then we will say good night and see you in 11 hours. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Sheila Prabhupada.